What is up, everybody?
What's up? What's up, everybody? Glad to have people in as people start trickling in for our second episode for Simply Investing on Monday, Money Mondays, kind of talking about topics that are kind of dear to everybody's minds right now. And one of the ones is, can Gen Z, millennials, and the next generations really obtain wealth? Is it feasibly possible? Can they do it? What are some of the obstacles? What are some of the barriers? But as always, this is going to be an open forum, so you guys can join in, give your opinion. The link, it will be in the description on YouTube. We are live on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. So keep the likes coming, like and subscribe, help us grow. We really appreciate all the support here. And I think this is a great topic and a great conversation starter. Do you guys think you can gain wealth? Do you think it's possible? Is it do you think it's outside your realm? Do you think it's impossible? Is it easy? Is it hard? But before we get into all that, my name is Sal. Got Cody on the line here. We are
Yes,
simply
sir.
we do a live Monday through Friday in the morning, crypto morning news. We do Money Mondays on Monday evening. We do a Tuesday evening stream. We do a Wednesday evening stream about scams and investments and avoiding them. We also do a lot. We also do a live on Thursday with Patreon only, and then we do a live on Friday with Crypto Dream about a topic relative to crypto. And then, of course, we have What's in Your Business on Saturday and What's in Your Portfolio on Sunday, too, as we go over our wins, losses, all that fun stuff. And if you guys are new, my name is Sal. I also own, I not only do I invest in crypto, stocks, real estate, I also own 4 businesses. 3 I own fully. 1 I just have a part ownership in with 2 other guys on the construction company, and I just keep building wealth. We just follow the journey of both myself and Cody. Cody's kind of a young buck starting his life, starting his financial journey, well on the way of making all the right decisions, and hopefully continuing making them and building his wealth. And you can kind of see it as we grow here.
Oh yeah,
Thank
I'm going against the grain. I'm going against what society would tell me to do. I'm investing pretty much most of my money into one asset class, which is crypto, instead of taking safer routes.
Your mic cut out there, buddy. I think your mic cut out there, or did my speaker cut out? Nope, my speaker is working. Well, as you guys see, we do it live. But thank you, Isaac. for the follow. Really appreciate that. Hope you enjoy the live. Cody, you might have to come in and out. Come back in. Maybe restart the app. I'll kind of pin that up here. If you're on, if you guys are on TikTok, definitely hit the guest button on the bottom right, and you can join in and share your opinion.
Sorry about that. Somebody called me and it booted me out of the live. Every time I
Oh,
get phone calls on this that we use, it just boots me out.
I gotcha. I gotcha. All right. Shout out to Cali X2. Glad to have you in here too. One of our great supporters joining in. So going to be a fun topic, but continue, Cody. Kind of cut off there.
Oh, you're good. But a lot of people would actually make fun. Like when I mean by a lot of people, I would actually say most people. I'd say most people would think I'm ridiculous or delusional when it comes to how I'm investing. I don't invest in shit coins at all. What I mean by that is just blue chip cryptos like Ethereum, Chainlink, Polkadot, Quant. I invest in those four. And what happens is people who don't know much about crypto or they don't know much about investing in general, they tell me, oh, you should be moving out, you should be doing this and that. But I fully understand the asset class I'm investing in. Like I fully understand what will go on in the markets. Nobody has a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years, but I know for a fact that regardless, it's going to pay off, whether it takes 3 or 4 years. But most people would call my situation like delusional. They'd be like, "Oh, you're investing in a speculative asset, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you're living at home, choosing to live at home, choosing to not have a car. Like, how could you be so young and you're choosing to live at home and you're choosing to not have a car and you're choosing not to participate in dating?" And it's simple. It's just delaying gratification. I am delaying everything in my life because I realize I'm young. Well, people would tell me like, "Oh, you're going to regret that when you're 40. You're going to regret that when you're 30." I'm like, "What do you mean? My net worth will be 5 to 10 times your net worth, and you're telling me what I'm going to regret?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't understand. Like, people, especially who are in my situation, we are richer than a lot of influencers. A lot of influencers are scammers. They use money that they don't really have to get these luxury goods. If you got $10,000 to $12,000 invested in an asset class, especially if you have low to no debt, you're richer than most of these influencers. I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly. Well, shout out to Cali. Good evening, buddy. Hope you had a great day. You didn't miss much. We just started. We are talking about, can the next generation achieve true wealth and
I
achieve financial goals, and whether or not it's hard, easy. Give us your feedback, you guys. And as always, our moderators are still coming in. So if I miss your comment as you guys are coming in and asking your questions, we'll definitely try to answer for that. But
I I can give my take on that about the Gen Z thing when it comes to future wealth. I believe that it's possible for us Gen Zers to achieve wealth. I believe there's a lot of opportunities out there, but unfortunately, with Gen Z, a lot of Gen Z, not most, but a good amount of Gen Zers, they fall into the victim mentality and they fall into the achieving wealth is impossible mindset. And a lot of Gen Zers, they manifest that into their lifestyle. Like, yeah, things are expensive. It's ridiculously hard out there. People are getting evicted. People are having hard times making ends meet. But you don't look at other situations like that and just think, "Oh, I'm throwing in the towel. We're not going to get wealthy." I also hear a lot of Gen Zers talk about, "Oh, we were born at the wrong time," and Boomers, they were born at a lucky time, which I agree. They were born at a time where they could get affordable housing and stuff like that. But when it comes to the mindset of people in my generation, that is going to prevent them from gaining wealth. It's not the world, it's not the economy, it's their mindsets.
I, I'm in the same boat. I think it is a mindset and just prioritizing the wrong things for a lot of you guys. Just hitting, you're like missing out on the opportunities to earn the right amount of money at the right time. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's hard. You don't understand." There's no, we all make the same. We all have choices to make in life, and a lot of the choices that we can make it either better or worse. and some of it can be revolving around health, relationships, jobs, not saving, things like that. But the biggest thing though that I see with everyone my age and down is that you didn't save enough money to really capitalize on the compounding interest. I mean, that's like your biggest thing to really capitalize on. And then when you want to change careers, start a business, or do anything else, you're kind of strapped for cash. And then a lot of people get affected with scams, these gurus that pitch you courses that don't really work, or you're doing crazy moonshots trying to make up the money that you really lost in your 20s and 30s because you didn't invest it right. And
Exactly.
it's a hard process to it's a hard thing to overcome that mentality, because once you get stuck in it, it gets very hard, and then everything else seems even harder, and it gets even worse, and it just kind of compounds. And but here we are. Give us your guys' thoughts on that. How is it? Do you think you can attain the wealth? Do you think that the dream is the American dream is beyond your reach? Do you think these things are no longer possible? Is it a ghost story? Is it a fairy tale that everyone's trying to chase, or can
I
someone
don't
really
think it's a
succeed
fairy
in this?
tale. Yeah,
And
the economy's tough. Like the economy does play a role in people achieving their wealth. I agree with that. I'm not totally just ignorant and saying, well, it's 100% mindset. I'd say it's largely, majorly mindset, but it's rough out there. But most people, they fall into the mindset of, you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. The American dream, it's over with. I'm not chasing it. It's all delusional. It doesn't even exist. I see a lot of people nowadays saying there is no American dream, like it doesn't exist, and I think that's bullshit. When you manage your finances well, when you invest, and when you live below your means, there's no way it's impossible if you're doing those things. You can't change my mind on that.
exactly, and we might have to work a little harder than some other generations, but we can achieve it. Shout out to Rays, thanks for the follow, really appreciate it. Shout out to Ocean Life. You ever flipped 200K in a trade? Nope. Well, I got a net worth of $19.1 million. So you tell me. I got 4 businesses, work nationwide. I don't know. You tell me. Look at all my lives. They're all on YouTube, buddy. I have a feeling though, as me being a licensed broker and working in the finance industry from 2000 to 2009, that most likely most people that tell me that they flipped 200K in a trade probably didn't. So, and I worked with people who I worked in private equity funds and things like that. So I know it's harder than what anyone out here on YouTube is saying or anywhere else. So, but if you did, hey, congrats to you. Most likely, probably not, especially if your next follow up is going to be, I made it off of very little money. I would have to sincerely disagree, but I really appreciate you guys coming in here. Shout out to Richard Coles. I did good buying a piece of property in the mountains, worked building homes and building mine. Yeah, that was definitely, you were probably making a lot of money in the last 3 or 4 years building homes, especially building custom homes. There's a lot of custom homes. I have a moving company. We were moving a lot of people out to bigger plots of lands, and they were just, they weren't like the prefab homes or the designed homes or the modeled neighborhoods. They were just like land, and you'd buy land and they would custom build the houses. And it was crazy. We did a lot of that. And I noticed we were moving a lot of people out to Vegas, Austin, Dallas, Houston, also Florida, all over Florida. It wasn't like any particular area. It was just all over Florida. So, shout out to Richard Coles. The value of mine, 100,000 a year, keeps going up. Well, yeah, it's the housing is only going to go up. I don't know what people are waiting for the values of housing to go down or go left or go right. It's uh, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't think the value of houses, they'll go down a little bit, but in the long run, they're going to keep going up, because one,
Exactly.
we have less people who are actually good at building homes. So there's less and less of like carpenters, electricians, plumbers, people just to do the construction work. There's less companies. A lot of them are going out of
Well, we
business.
have. less people getting into trades and the electrical plumbing and stuff like that, the value of those trades and the cost of those trades to hire those people, it just goes up. Like it that I know that's like a common sense statement to make, but at the same time it's true. A lot of people nowadays are not really wanting to become carpenters and electricians and all that, and the guys my age who do, I mean, they're genuinely hardworking. But yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Blitz and Spray. Back in the 30s, you could buy a home brand new kit house for 8,500. Now the same house is worth almost 500K. They're paying 25 to $35. Shout out to Richard. They're paying 25 to $35 an hour. Yeah, you could make good money, but in my age group, what happened is everyone said you don't want to be that. You want to be a doctor. You want to be a lawyer. You want to go to school. Don't be those. Now we're at the point where like, oh crap, we kind of need those people to do the things that maintain what has been created and to create more. And I do think some of the next generation, like the Gen Z and I guess Gen Alpha that's coming up, they are now looking, saying, "Oh, there's a lot of opportunities in crafts," but we are going to experience a gap in those crafts down the road because we are just not. We just don't have experienced people. So like the people who were in like in their late 60s that are now retiring out of carpentry, plumbing, electrician work, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, they're saying, "Hey, I'm done with my life. I got to retire. I'm I'm moving out, moving on to the next stage of my life." But there's no one to fill those gaps. Even sometimes like a local electricians that have been running their small businesses for decades are now gone, and you're kind of like limiting the pool. So the less people that are able to build what we need, the longer it's going to take to keep building out the supply. And then of course, since we have less supply, the demand's going to rise. Shout out to Blitz and Spray. All those jobs are still plentiful, and there's plenty in those positions. Yep, right now. But before, there was always, almost for every new person coming into those crafts, there was always a grizzled master craftsman who was teaching the new person how to do things. There always was that, and then now there just isn't. Now there those older people that really built a lifetime of experience in the trades are retiring or passing away, so that knowledge is slowly disappearing. Well, Blitz and Spray, I'm not saying there's certain areas where there's going to be more and less, but overall, nationwide, it is decreasing because the companies that hire those people are saying that there's a shortage and they can't get they can't complete the projects on time. I'm watching new neighborhoods constantly take longer and longer to get completed, get filled out, get the houses built, get the materials in, get everything done right. It's just taking a little longer because before, when I was 20, because I don't look like it, but I just turned 40. When I was 20, it used to be like 90 days that it would take for a house to get built. And now we're looking at probably like 6 to 8 months. That's mainly because you're just getting a little less of the worker staff. And even I noticed that there's like one or two construction companies kind of doing all the work in Northwest Arkansas. So it just shows that there is a little bit of a slowdown. But come on live if I'm wrong and you think I'm wrong, definitely come on. But if you guys think it's easy or hard to build to financial freedom or get the wealth that you want that you can no longer get, just let me know. And no, it's fine. It's okay. But you can say if I'm blatantly wrong. I'm always open to getting new information because you can't. Because one, I've been a trader and an investor. You can't invest properly if you're not learning, eh, open to new information about what you are trying to invest in or how it's going to invest in. Because believe it or not, Blitz and Spray, this conversation is very pertinent to investing and helping other people build knowledge into what how things work. And sometimes we get things wrong. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the answers. Even Warren Buffett can't tell you the exact details of every industry. All he can do is invest based on his knowledge. And you can only invest based on your knowledge if you're open to learning about more knowledge from other people. That's how true investors really make money. Shout out to Sean Miller. Can you talk about your focus, simply investing? Well, not sure what you mean by, but we're glad to have you in here. So welcome into the stream. Well, what we do at Simply Investing is we talk all things crypto, business, real estate, stocks. Kind of heavy on crypto because a lot. One is popular. Two, both Cody and I are invested in it. There's a lot of opportunity to grow it, and it's in the beginning stages of an industry. So we're kind of coming to the last couple runs where you're going to be able to get huge amounts of returns on projects before it starts leveling out like the stock market. But we have lives every morning. We have lives every night. Tonight's focus is just about can you achieve the American dream? Is it financially possible? Can the younger generations actually achieve it, or are they subject to financial oblivion? But we're definitely glad to have you in here. If you want to join us on the mornings for crypto, we'd definitely love to have you on there. But definitely give us a follow and a subscribe there. We definitely appreciate that. Um, but like I was saying, investing is all about just how much knowledge you have, and the more knowledge you have, the more you understand, and the more you understand, the better you can invest. That's just plain and simple, plain and simple. That's just how investing works. Like, is if you can understand, if you're very good at understanding human psychology, consumerism, and buying behaviors, then you're probably going to be very good at picking retail stocks and things like that. Shout out to Blitz and Spray. Also, this is more of a talk show then. Yeah, the Money Mondays is more of an open forum. Come in, we'll give you a couple minutes to get your question out or get your opinion out, and let everybody reflect. As long as everybody is polite, kind, doesn't matter if you're on one side or the other. We're not attacking people. We're discussing the argument, not the person. So just be respectful. Understand everybody has different walks of life, different financial views, different home lives, everything, and that all plays into your opinion of the world and reality is. But everyone else is more than welcome to bring people on and things like that. Shout out to Blizzard Sprays. Are you open to bringing people on for interviews, or have you done that already? We've already done our first season with 6 interviews with some people in my network that are very wealthy, that have built up their businesses and things like that. Just streamlining it. Season one's going to be on Patreon only until season two comes out next year, and then we'll put season one out on YouTube. But we don't really do interviews on our lives. It's just more of a come in, give your opinion. We'll give our opinion, and then we can just kind of have other people join in on the discussion, things like that. But we do appreciate everybody joining in, including you, buddy. So hopefully you enjoy it. I'll keep answering all your guys' questions. If you don't want to come on live, understand. Not everybody wants to come on live. You don't have to cam up or anything. You can just speak your question in the comments, and I'll try to answer them as we go there. Although I know that you have a limited amount of words, so bear with me. I might have to ask you to rephrase it or give me a little bit more explanation on some things. But yeah, I know that there's a lot of talk, especially with I'd say between 18 and 26-year-olds, that it's hard to make money, hard to it's impossible to get a house, it's impossible to build a business, it's impossible to do a lot of things. But I have to counter with life was never meant to be easy. It was always going to be hard. We just exchanged the wilderness with society along the last several thousand years. So yeah, it's probably changed from a lot of what was in the past, but I don't think it's too much harder, maybe a little bit, but not that much harder than I think to where I am at least. Although there was a lot of sacrifices there, I had to to drop a lot of things along the way to build all the businesses, build up the one business to be able to invest in other businesses and have the money to invest in stocks, crypto, and things like that. And I did do the corporate grind for 15 years before I started my moving company, then started the logistics company, then invested in the construction company and invested in and pretty much bought out the furniture store chain. Oh, excuse me. Shout out to Blitz and Spray. What makes you want to do this? Just because I finally have the time, and Cody and I like talking about it. So
Quant is down 5% to $96 now. It's under 100.
yeah, I thought the market is taking a nice
Finally, I'm
nice
excited to see that.
nice reset button there. So we'll have to see in the morning. It might be time to dollar cost average over the night. Usually the best time to buy crypto is like late.
Nighttime
Yeah.
and on weekends.
Yeah, usually like Sunday morning is like a good time. But yeah, we want to Blitz, we wanted to do this to we wanted to do this channel to help to just help answer other people's questions. I myself noticed that a lot of people are misguided in how to actually build a lot of wealth. I was lucky enough that I worked with a guy that he was already in his golden years, but he ran one of the biggest answering services in the country. And I happened to work at his corporate headquarters as an errand boy, and I learned directly from him for a little bit as to how he built his wealth, how he made his money, how he built his companies. Not in detail because I didn't really work at the executive level. I was just kind of running and getting coffee, doing errands for everybody in the office. But I learned a lot about business, and yeah, there has to be some sacrifice in order for us to be able to make the wealth that we want. Shout out to Knowledge. Welcome back in, buddy. Hope you enjoy the live. I hope we had a great day too. Shout out to Live and Learn. Definitely glad to have you in here. Really appreciate you joining in. I see more and more regulars are starting to come in. I know it's a weird time at 6 o'clock. Most people are having dinner with their family or things like that. Shout out to Crypto Dream and being in here. Definitely go to his YouTube channel and TikTok channel to subscribe and follow his. He definitely has some great knowledge that he likes to share and different viewpoints as always is always good in investing. Shout out to you. Where are my alerts? I don't know. I think our alerts are starting to be a little shadow banned sometimes, especially when we start talking about topics about wealth building and things like that. But hey, we're definitely glad to have you in here. If you want to join in, link is in the description on YouTube, or if you're on TikTok, you can just hit the guest button and join in, or just speak your comment, and we'll try to get to everybody. Alrighty. So let me go over just some data here a little bit. I think I'm getting some feedback from you. I can hear
What kind of feedback?
I just hear I hear my voice through your mic a little bit.
Oh wow! Hold on.
Let me see here. It just might be a little glitch. I'm gonna try and lower the volume just a little bit. So here's part of the issue is that now this is coming from Fortune magazine, of course, but they're showing here the median and mean net worth of everybody, and age is 35 or less, which isn't too far off from my age. Most people are going to have around $13,000 in available savings, or a net worth that's minus liabilities to all the assets they have. So, and it's usually when you're in that point, you're because like my brother and I, when we worked hard in our 20s, we just stacked every bit of cash, every bit of overtime that we took, every ounce of extra money we put away into our 401ks, our personal investments, and into, of course, Roth IRAs and stuff like that. So I find it hard that you could be 35 and only have 13,900 like is what if I pulled a random person, pulled 1,000 people, most of them would have under 14,000 net worth after 15 years of working. And for some of you, it could be a little bit more, a little bit longer, up to 16. But here's Crypto Dream. Let's bring you in here, buddy. All right.
Maybe.
I wonder if I can
Can you
move.
hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, buddy. Glad to have you in here.
So did you guys talk about the XRP thing?
The XRP. I'm sorry.
The, yeah, the EFT that apparently isn't going on.
Oh no, we haven't talked about it yet. We were just talking about is it still possible for everyone to obtain financial freedom through is
Gen Z
American
and
Dream
millennial.
alive, Gen Zs and millennials. I was going to talk about the XRP ETF tomorrow morning on our morning stream, but we can chat a little bit
Okay.
here. Up to you guys, but it is open forum. Speak your questions, but I didn't really read up on it much. I was kind of preparing for this live, but I did see some people tweeting about it, and you know, it's an ETF with XRP for any of the like Ethereum. I probably should see it for any of the other popular ones like Solana and probably Doge too. I wouldn't be surprised if someone came out with a Doge one, but I wouldn't recommend it. But it's the ETFs are going to start coming. It's just a matter of time.
Especially for Ethereum. I see it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it ended up being fake news, but it could be a test run for all we know.
Yeah, it could be. It could be, but I saw that it's all the market prices are dropping, so I don't think the news is having the intended effect that they wanted to have. Shout out to Live and Learn. Uh, Glad to have one of our longtime supporters back in here. So welcome back in. Some of us have been through divorce after 24 years of life. It takes time to build back. Absolutely, absolutely. Like unfortunately, when relationships end, especially marriages, that's one of the biggest wealth destruction vehicles that can happen outside of Ponzi schemes and financial schemes, because a lot of times divorces happen too late in life to where it's like now you're kind of back at square one, and really the divorce, you just made the attorneys rich, and you need, like, no one got, neither person in the marriage got really anything. The attorneys got most of the money unfortunately, and it seems like it's a wealth engine for the attorneys. But it's I'd say it's if you're like early 30s and you've been divorced, your recovery ability is probably still great. But if you're getting divorced at like late 50s, you've already peaked out on your earning years and all that stuff. So it gets really, really, really hard to start that ball again. But it can be done. I mean, the guy that founded KFC was divorced at 68 and left with $14 in his name. So he made it happen. So it just depends on your drive and what you're striving for. Um, Shout out to Callie. I was busy trying to feed the dogs. Did you say someone at 31 should have more than 13K in wealth? Yeah. Um, Before we start talking a little bit about crypto, because like my brother and I had a net worth, like I was in finance, so my net worth was already right around $1 million with all my investments, and I didn't have a mortgage at the time. My brother was just working at Amazon, and he had a net worth of about $500,000 after, and that was his cash, that was his liquid
See,
assets, stocks and stuff. So
I
that was
have
more
50.
money. Go ahead, Cody.
I mean, I have 15,000 at 23. I mean, I'm lucky to be here at 23. But even me having 15,000, over 15,000 in crypto at 23, I still feel like I need to keep adding more and more and more. And it's
Yeah.
never enough.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is a lot of people in from the 18 to 30 stay stuck at zero and don't really do anything about it. It's not that they can. In my opinion, I just think we never focused on it. And when you're young, you're too busy focusing on everything else in life but your finances because you're young and you think that, oh, 65 years is so far away, but it really isn't. It's going to get here lightning fast and you're missing out on some prime earning years. But it's also, there's a lot of 20-year-olds, they start families, they start getting houses in their early 20s. I've hired a few people that, they're 24 with 3 kids, married, they're in their home. So but it's not like I don't have a middle ground person. It seems like there's two separate people. It's like you're on one extreme or another. Let me bring back in Crypto Dream here. Um, but shout out to
Yeah.
Joe Bree. I've done it 3 times with a kid involved in 2. Uh, a lot. Shout out to Callie. I think a lot of people don't save. Many don't think about it or think they have time. Shout out to Joe. I'm 47 now. You still have enough time. There's enough runway to get there. You still got 20 years, 20 solid years. Or even if you're my age at 40, like you got 25 to 27 to 30 years to really make it happen. And it seems like, man, that's like 70's right around the corner when you're 40, but you still got a little bit of time. It hurts when you're like 65 going through divorce and you have no money and you didn't even save in your beginning years, and it just hurts there. um Welcome back in, Crypto Dream. Guess you're having some
Hey,
mic troubles.
I guess. But yeah, one of the things with men is like a lot of times, like when you're in your 20s, people are like live your life, and then when you hit 30s, they're like, what have you done? And a lot of times people have to grow up quick, especially. And I can only speak for guys. So.
That's a good point. I like that. I like that. People tell you to live your life in your 20s, but yet you follow their quote unquote advice. You live your life in your 20s. So like, what have you done in your 30s? The way society is, I go against society, and what I mean by that isn't by being a degenerate and saying, "Oh, screw society. I'm gonna do drugs and I'm gonna knock a chick up and be stupid with my finances." No, I say screw society, as in men should go their own way. Screw what society says and just build your wealth up. So what people say, I hate what people say. I hate what society tells me. I go my own way.
That's also a good and valid point. Because a lot of people say don't waste your 20s, you miss out on experiences, but I have to say experiences can't feed me. They,
I'm not going to buy a house in cash with, hey, I went to Italy in my 20s and I did all the spring break events and got laid and I drank a bunch of alcohol. Like, no.
let's hear Crypto Dream. I think he's trying to say something, but I think he keeps getting I guess he's booting himself out with his
It's
mic.
this software. I mean, I totally go through the same thing. It's kind of glitchy.
Yeah, I used it on the computer. It doesn't seem to have.
I guess it's because we're using phones.
It might be because there's a lot of programs that go on there. Shout out to Live and Let me get through all these comments here because we got quite a bit on here. Shout out to Live and Learn. Okay, no problem, Crypto Dream, but glad that you're in here. Definitely keep you shouted out through there, through the comments. But shout out to Live and Learn. My kids are all weird with this stuff. Only 1 out of 3 speak about it to me. That's the oldest. The youngest said it's cringe. My mom is in crypto. Yeah, it's kind of like I think um crypto is viewed as like a young person's thing, but it's not. It's just an investment vehicle. It's kind of like how stocks was when I was 18. Like it was like, oh well, you're young. You can be into that stuff. It's trendy. It's not really trendy to be into investing and building wealth. Everybody really needs to learn it and understand all the concepts behind it so you don't make the pitfalls and mistakes that are around it. Um, Shout out to Cali. Instant gratification is a real thing. A lot of people who don't save or can't, no excuses for them. Uh, that is a good point too. We're in a society where it's like I gotta have it now, gotta bring it now, gotta I mean people are canceling Amazon orders if they can't get it 8 hours later. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, I'll buy something. I'll just say, oh, I'll forget about it. And it comes in like 4 or 5 weeks later. It's like, oh, I forgot I even got that. So, but I get it because it's hard because savings kind of like working out. You do a little bit, you don't, it's like you could do it for 6 months and not really see a lot of progression, but you are making important steps forward. And then when a year happens, it's like, well, I didn't do a lot. But then all of a sudden, when 5 years hit, you're like, man, I saved a lot of money. Then when 10 years hit, it's like, wow, did I really put away this much money? So it's one of those things, it takes a long time to go. And unfortunately, a lot of people, especially young people, it's like, if it ain't happening now, I don't want it.
Yeah, yep, exactly. It's a lot of people my age. If it ain't happening right now, I don't want it. It's just like I had one friend who just contacted me out of nowhere because the market's bullish. People contacting me out of nowhere, the market's bullish. A girl who I used to talk to, it's like she didn't really want me. All of a sudden, the market's bullish, and my TikTok content is about that, and you can see your friends. TikToks via your contacts list. And all of a sudden, when the market's bullish, everybody's your friend, and everybody asks you, "Hey, I want to get into investing school." Market's bearish, you get women leaving you, you get people cutting you off, you're not hearing from people. So yeah, 100%. People are all about right now. People are choosing dating options for right now rather than, oh, this person may not be where he wants to be in life, but he has so much potential and he has so much ideas and he's actually going to get there. He has a plan. People don't really date based on plans and building anymore. It's more of what do you have to offer right now. It's the same thing with dating.
Yeah, it's pretty right on point. Let me just keep going through some of these comments. Shout out to Live and Learn. I got back into crypto. How I got back into crypto was my kids sent me some. There you go. Shout out to, let me go over this way. Okay, here, this is a lot better. All right. Shout out to Callie. Wealth money mindset hasn't set in yet. It hasn't even set in yet for a lot of young people. And even in my age group, I just turned 40. I have a lot of people that I can't tell you how many people message me, hey, I see that you're doing very well for yourself. How can you help me make money? How can I get to your level? And it's like, well, dude, I've been working on this for like the last 20 years. Like you're just now seeing the results of it. I told you what it was before. Skip out on the extra date night. Stop going to the bar. Stop spending frivolous money. Plan out, trips and things like that. If you can only go twice a year, go twice a year, things like that. Unfortunately, people are like, oh, well, that's boring. Well, yeah, boring saves your future life. And so if you want to have a very interesting life, you're going to have a very hard life in your future. But if you have a very boring life and you save and you build, you will have a very interesting future. So shout out to Joe, Rightful Force. Shout out to Live and Learn. Teacher parents well on computers and phones. Um, Shout out to Joe again. Just getting into this, but like what I see. Yeah, well, glad that you're joining in. Hopefully, you can. Uh, oh man, that's unfortunate, Joe. I'm sorry that you had an accident. But I'm glad that you're alive and that you hopefully you're going to come out of that okay and well. Definitely hitting a semi truck at 70 miles an hour definitely is not fun. But we're glad to have you in here. Shout out to Reptile King. Welcome back in, buddy. Glad to have you in here. We're talking about, can the younger generations actually achieve financial wealth and happiness? So shout out your opinion. You guys can join in live. Definitely want to see if answer everybody's questions. We can definitely go on YouTube if you want to kind of come on live stream and shout out your opinion and everything, or ask your questions. I'll definitely try to get to everybody. Shout out to Live and Learn. Always underestimate. Yep. That's the one thing. We always underestimate the boring. And it's just one of those things. When something's boring, tried and true, it's like, is it really going to be that good? I don't think so. It's boring. I don't want it. It's kind of the same thing as if you hear what makes a successful marriage. It's like, oh, really? That's boring. I don't want that. I want the fun, romantic, movie style marriage, lifestyle, everything. It's like, well, look, maybe only 1% of the world will get that. The rest of us gotta get 80%. It's funny because there's a Tyler Perry play where Medea was kind of actually talked. They had a line in there that Medea said that really made sense. It's like a lot of people are expecting to marry Jesus and get 100%, and it's like you're not going to get 100%. You're really only going to get 80%. You're going to be lucky if you even get that. So, but and shout out to Joe, right hard, and but I know you're going to be on the right path. I hope that you have a great recovery, and I hope you can also get going on your financial journey. Shout out to Knowledge. Any good business ideas? The only thing I could say that's going to be really really good is going to be the foreclosure market. And probably used car market. Now, hear me out on the used car market. Hear me out. Now, I don't really want to own a dealership or anything because I don't want to deal with that BS and all that crap and stuff like that. But it's easy to set up. Um, a lot of states, especially in the South, like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, I think Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, you just need like a small office with a filing cabinet. The state police come in, certify you, give you your license, and you can go to auction. Now those cars are going to be at a great value in the next 6 to 12 months because nobody's going to be buying them. And you can probably get a premium deal on your first lot of used cars if you can find the right investor. But I wouldn't start now, probably down the road. There'd be something to prepare for. But you could probably get a nice like 6 or 8 cars for probably about 150,000. And to get there, it's going to be right. Like the car industry is going to be swinging back in the right direction right as the bull market starts happening. And if you can capitalize on the bull market, then you can invest in another business. But other than that, I would say if you're investing in crypto and you make money on the bull run, go right into real estate, build up your real estate portfolio, get a steady cash flow from your real estate, and then we can go into other riskier forms of business like starting up a business from scratch or whatever. Um, Shout out to Live and Learn. 80% is generous. Yeah, even if you get 80% of what you're looking for out of a relationship, you probably did really really well. Shout out to Joe. I done roofing. Actually,
I
roofing's going to be pretty good in the future. Cody, what you're about to say something there? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I go. I know I talk about dating a lot, but I know I see the same thing in dating, especially in women and guys too. It's like guys mainly want the girl that's the baddie right now, and the girls want the established financial man right now. And you see a lot of girls. You see a lot of girls in their 20s. They're even going for older guys. But my question is, what are those girls gonna do when she's 40 and he's 70? It's like he's basically an old man now and you're only 40. It's like that only works out when you're young and he's in his peak earning years. But when he's past his peak earning years and you're past your young years, what are y'all going to do? It's like y'all have nothing in common because the age is so spread out.
Yeah, that is true too. However, I have to say though, for my parents, my dad was 40 when he married my mother,
How old
and
was your mom at the time?
21.
See, that's not terrible, but it's like I'm seeing that trend becoming a popular thing, and it's mainly because of finance. I'm not talking about your mom's situation, your mom and your dad's
But
situation. It's
well,
just like
I'm just saying, like, I get it with because some of them, it's like it's people forget like there's no actual romantic love involved in a lot of those relationships. It's a relationship born out of necessity from the recession. Is that they don't want to work. The guy's got the money. They worked it out, and that's how the relationship formed. And usually those end when the economy starts doing well again, or when people start moving over, like things start changing in life and things like that.
but it's
Um,
like I see it with women too in their 20s. It's like they want the guy that has it all, that absolutely has everything. But in their 30s and 40s, what they call quote unquote settling is actually what they should have been going for the whole time.
Well, that's true too, and unfortunately, the dating game kind of crushed a lot of companies that were involved in it. There was a lot of companies that went under with the change of the dating market. Let me get through some of these comments, and we can get back to our conversation here. Uh, but Joe, hopefully, you can get back into roofing because there's going to be a need to repair roofs, redo roofs, and reinstall because people will no longer say, "Oh, I need to fix the roof. I'll just buy a new house." The money's not that cheap anymore, and probably won't ever be for the next 20 or 30 years. So we'll be back to where it was when my parents were a young couple between like the 70s, 80s, 90s. And it was, hey, I have a problem with the roof. I need to find a good roofer. I need to find a good plumber. I need to find these people to help fix my house. So I think roofing is going to be a boom because instead of, building a new house and having to go through that process, people start looking for roofers saying, hey, can you do patch jobs? Can you install new gutters? Can you do this? Can you do that on the roof? Can you, I had a squirrel on my roof, kind of ate through some of the shingles. Can you fix that? Things like that. Um, and shout out to Joe again. I like real estate. Got some. I'm not sure if you have real estate, then you're already ahead of the game. Uh, and yes, real estate can work for you over the years. It is a good investment, and it's just like people always need homes, and there's always going to be a need for someone to be a landlord because not everybody has the credit to get the home. Shout out to Live and Learn, property, cars, whatever investing we have in common. Exactly. Property is probably the best way to go, but cars in the next couple of years after the whole reset of that market is going to be a great industry to get into as a lot of dealers kind of fold up and go out of business because I also think the traditional way of a used car salesman is kind of going out the window. You got like the next generations, which are millennials or elder millennials, Gen Zers, and Gen Alphas, they're not going to tolerate the same used car mentality that my parents just got used to over the years. And so I think there's an opportunity to really score a big business in there, but it is, it's going to take time for that market to reset on there. Shout out to Live and Learn. No man and no woman will make me move my positions. Exactly. Um, that is definitely don't make your financial decisions based around your partner. Even my parents, they said they kept their finances separate but worked together. So they said, I these are my financial plans. Luckily, both of their mindsets were very similar, so they had kind of the same financial goal. But my dad was not compromising on his financial plan. It was set in stone. It's like whether he was married to my mom or not, this is what he was going to do. So just remember that. Don't change your investment strategies or anything unless if you guys are really talking about something serious like buying like a big rental property project or doing something new and unique. Really talk that out because that can affect a marriage, and you really need to talk that stuff out. Shout out to Crypto Dream. My wife was with me when I had nothing, and she'll remind me of that. Exactly, and that's usually those women are a little rarer nowadays to find, but they are out there. But people gotta understand, like most good marriages start off as IKEA marriages. You got to start with nothing and build up to something.
Most people just don't want to do that nowadays.
Yeah, it's that instant gratification. Got to have it all now, or I don't want it. Shout out to Simple Man, 27-year anniversary this month. Don't see it much anymore. Exactly. My parents 3 years ago celebrated their 40th anniversary. So I hear it. It seems like even all my friends from high school and college, very few of them are celebrating 10, 12, 15-year anniversaries. It's kind of like most of them have gotten divorced or stayed single, or they're divorced twice and just giving up on that kind of life and dream. um Shout out to Learn, let's do it. Same. Lost my shout out to Joe. Lost my parents to cancer. That's really unfortunate. That's tough. That's tough. And that's a hard way to see because cancer eats you alive, and then puts a lot of strain on the family. But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And the funny thing is that I'm not trying to diminish your journey there, Joe, but there's a lot of people in your same situation, and you find out that the most the best way and the hardest way to get to the next level is just being consistent and accepting what has happened and taking a step forward from what has happened. And it sounds kind of cliche, weird, and off-putting to say, but once you step past it, it kind of makes everything you start to build a plan, and that's the most important part. I think we're all caught up finally. I got through everybody, but hey, thanks for everybody joining in. Hopefully, you guys, keep bring your questions, bring your answers. Love to have you guys on. Uh, definitely enjoying the conversation. We are enjoying the conversations that we're having.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying all of this. I'm learning a lot. I just think it's ridiculous. I see a lot of shit in my generation that I just think is really annoying, and how people are. It's just like people need to get over themselves from their immature mentalities, especially I'm speaking to 18 and 24-year-olds mainly. Yeah, I mean, it's because I'm 23 right now, and I just see a lot of stupid shit. I'm tired of people going after instant gratification. I'm tired of people putting down new opportunities. I'm tired of seeing this victim mentality of you can't get wealthy. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people like underestimating the value of building a relationship from ground zero instead of meeting somebody who has it all. Like I hate my generation. It's all annoying.
Yeah, it's somehow we warped a lot of things into a commodity based environment. And so the American dream came from, instead of working hard to earn it, sometime people now have come to, oh, well, instead of working hard for it, why don't I just find someone and either hijack it or take it? And unfortunately, it's kind of the same way. And I get that a lot too, because like I know I'm not the best looking guy out there, but when a woman starts just messaging me out of nowhere, it's like, okay, obviously you know that I'm running some business. 'Cause I'm not very open about it on Facebook or social media, which means you found me on TikTok, which is where I mostly promote all this stuff. And you're saying, okay, well, I can kind of survive this financial storm that's coming being with this guy. And then when they find out, like, I just straight don't give a fuck. It's like, I'm all about my business. I tell a lot of, last woman I dated, which was about 4 years ago, I told her, it's like, you're always going to be second to my business. I'm not
Them
giving up my
women, them women can starve, in
not
my
giving
opinion. I feel
anything.
no sympathy.
Well, you heard Cody's opinion, but my opinion is that I'm not altering my financial path for any woman. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do that. I will straight up ignore you off of that stuff, because when you divert from that financial path, that hurts the most. That hurts even worse than a divorce, or not even investing at all, because you're already trying and then you lose everything that you built up, and then you lost all that potential earning, and it's going to rack your brain for a while. Shout out to Joe. I straight don't give a fuck. Also, exactly. You just gotta let it just roll off, and they'll call you all types of stuff. It's like, especially black women. I'm a lame. A lot of things I can't say on TikTok from it, because
Yeah.
what they say to me, and it's like, but I'm the lame with the business. I don't care. Like right now, I could go out to Ruth Chris and just pay for my entire family. Let's go have some Ruth Chris.
Do something they wish they could do, but
Yeah.
except they would do it 20 times over and go broke.
Hmm. And it's like, and it's just like I'm doing, and I have to say, like, I'm doing all this work. It's like I'm not doing all this work and building all this business and building all this wealth just for some
Entitled brat who thinks he
entitled
can just hijack
entitled
my wealth.
woman to come in and say, well, you should be giving that to me. It's like, no, go out there and earn it yourself.
Exactly. Or they see me as some recession balloon. Like, oh, I'm going to help them. And these girls aren't slick, like contacting me as soon as they see my TikToks and shit. These girls are not slick. They think they're slick. Like, they're not. The timing is everything. If they contact you when you're up, they never gave a fuck about you to begin with. They're just seeing your come up.
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, they'll and when you're building your success and you are getting there and it's starting to show, trust me, people will take shit. Like I was on a live a couple weeks ago, right? I was on a live discussion with a few people. Well, if you're joining, shout out to Crypto Cleaner. If you're joining those dating apps, oh, it's absolutely not. I can tell you right away that it's bot software that's contacting you. Like a lot of that stuff is bots and it's designed like the gambling games. So it keeps people engaged and knows how to trigger the right amount of dopamine. But it's crazy how before it used to be terrible. Like you could spot it in an instant. Nowadays, it's like, oh my goodness, like these things are getting better and better and better and better. I mean, we moved an older lady who was unfortunately she suffered uterine cancer and became barren, and her husband at the time left her and she became very lonely since that. And she was like 68 going on these dating apps and she just got roped in by AI bot scammers and they were just stringing her along till they bled her dry of money. And she was a chef. She was making like $150,000 a year as a head chef. Like she had like a $900,000 401k. Luckily, she has like a $60,000 year pension from where she worked, plus other stuff. It's apps. It. Trust me, it's degenerate out there. But the crypto community, the reason why I know that they're women is because I went to high school with them, or I went to college with them, or we worked at the same company. Like I know who you are, and it's like okay, I know who you are, or it's like I'm starting to see people like message out there. It's like, okay, what do you want? Obviously, it's just money ploy, so I just ignore it. But and like I said, if you're a young guy, I would stick to only talk to women in real life. That's the best way to weed out a lot of that bullshit. Shout out to Joe. I'm just here to learn life, absolutely, and hope and keep going on the betterment path and chasing your dreams. Shout out to Live and Learn. I live in my mother's loft. It's comfortable. Hey, and sometimes you gotta start over. There's a lot of older guys. I actually interviewed a guy that was last week. Unfortunately, he just suffered a divorce. He's living out of his car, but he's got the right attitude. I'm gonna make it. And if I gotta go to the Planet Fitness to shower, then that's what it's got to be. He does whatever he can to make it by, and he's not afraid to. He works at. He had a whole targeted system. Like he works at McDonald's in the morning, works at Taco Bell in the evening. This is all on his way on his walk back to his car. And then for the night shift, he works at Burger King so that he can get free food as they write it off at the end of the night. So I'm like, he's got a plan there. But he said instead of just saying, hey, I'm not fit, like I'm above fast food, he said I'm gonna work 3 fast food jobs until I get the job I want. And that's the mentality that you got to have if you're going to get out of that situation. It's a tough situation, trust me, but it's hard. It's hard to be in that situation and to take the hits on the chin. Shout out to Live and Learn. That's the way. Shout out to Derek. What happened to crypto today? Probably just the sell off. Maybe the relief rally is cooling off a little bit. I actually haven't checked. I haven't gotten my price alerts yet on my price targets for dollar cost averaging in, but oops. Let me look at coin market cap. I haven't seen here. Oh yeah, we're down 2%. So yeah, it's cooling off. The volume is going up. It's up 50%. So it's definitely cooling. Things are cooling off in the crypto market, but it looks like the blue chip ones are kind of holding their value. Like if you are in some of the meme tokens, you definitely took a big hit. I know Hex took 18% hit today.
Oh yeah, that's a big meme token.
Yeah, that one got hit hard. Quant down 5%, but still holding 100. But yeah, like I think I saw where is it? Yeah, Shiba down 5%. Uh Dogecoin down almost 6%. They're almost losing all the gains that they had. Um Shout out to Paul D till he drops dead. Well, unfortunately, you got to work your way out of that situation. I think he's in his 50s, and it's hard when you get divorced in your 50s, and he can barely afford his car payment. So what he does is he just lives in his car, kind of doesn't drive it much, and so that way he doesn't have to worry about maintenance. So he kind of has a game plan, but unfortunately, he's not a fit for what I'm doing, just because his he doesn't have the personality I need for high end clients, but I wish him the best. He can take food home to his family or just himself. Just himself. He has his kids. I think his kids are grown, like 18, 19, going to college or something like that. Because he was married for at least 24 years. Um, Shout out to Simple Man might be a deer trap. It's real, and shout out to Live and Learn. It's real hard when you get divorced after a long term marriage. It is, because your whole life changes. Your whole life changes. Oh, shout out to Crypto Hillbilly. That's a great name. Welcome in. Glad to have you in here. Yeah, when you have a long term marriage, I can only imagine if you've been with someone since you were in high school and you married them, and you're now in your 50s, getting divorced and you're moving away from that person. It's like that
That's
has been.
hell.
I'm sorry.
I said that's hell.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that is to your mentality. I mean, you've been around that person for so long, and now you're not. And it's almost like a death. It's just crazy. Shout out to Simple Man, Bear Trap. Sorry. Oh yeah, yeah, that could be too. But it's gonna be a good opportunity for us to take some profits, or not profits, but take some dollar cost averaging entry in the way. But Quant's still a bargain in my opinion. So I'm a dollar cost average, whether it's at $120 or $90. It's going to keep buying it. Although it would behoove me to want it down at $90, $85 range, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Shout out to Joe. That's me. I make it in 10 years. I have full faith. As long as you got a plan, you can make it happen. The hardest part about the plan is coming up with the plan. Then the next step is just starting to walk the path of the plan that you came up with. That's the next hard part. And those two steps are really hard, but it can be done. Man, that's like, man, we went all over there. Yeah, and it's like divorce is definitely one of the biggest wealth strippers of people for their financial success, and even how can I put it, like oh no, the women 10 years. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. I got what you're saying now there, Joe. Shout out to Simple Man. Quant really hasn't pumped much, but it will. Yeah, it's always the last performer of every rally and run. Shout out to Devin. Glad to have you in here. Why do you love Quant so much? There's a lot of great reasons. From my investor side, it's because there's a lot of big money that's involved with this. So you always want to follow them. Even if you're a step behind, you'll still make a good amount of money. Also, it's tokenizing real world assets, which in my opinion will help a lot of things in our areas, even though I dislike the fact that it's more centralized than most cryptos, but I do believe it has the most return on investment, because right now at $100 with a price target that Cody and I have of 2,000, it's a good return on investment. And Devin, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate you joining in here, buddy. And I hope you guys can really keep enjoying this live, keep liking, keep sharing. And if you guys want to give us more support on YouTube, click the link in the bio on TikTok and go right over to YouTube, and you can give us a subscribe. We're trying to keep growing. But divorce is one of the biggest strippers. It's like, and unfortunately, it's enforced by the family courts, and there's a lot of things that I wasn't even unaware of, because like alimony, if you're behind on alimony, the court can charge you interest up to 29%, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It is, and it's just all. It's a part of life that relationships don't work out, but it just seems that people nowadays, marriage is just such a questionable thing for my generation, because my generation has such a low tolerance for conflicts and things happening. Like my generation is the type to where one thing bad happens in their relationship, and they're about to call it quits. It's like my generation just has a low tolerance for hardships. I mean, I've been there too. I've had times to where I feel weak in hardships, but it's like when it comes to like gratification and actually building a long lasting relationship, people aren't built for that nowadays.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately it's just the way things are sometimes. Shout out to Crypto Dream, another great supporter and moderator joining in on here. So glad to have you in here again, buddy. Um, Shout out to Joe. I got a little stock, but learning. Yeah, as long as you research what you're investing, you understand the businesses and projects you're investing in, you will always make money. And as long as you set your risk tolerance to where you want to save and be at. Shout out to Devin. I own 50 quant. Just wanted your perspective. Great. Glad to have
I have
you.
52.
Yeah, you're right about with Cody. Right now, quant is 12% of my portfolio. And you can go back on our YouTube, Devin, and you can look at what's in your portfolio as I do deep dives on what I'm investing in, what I bought, what I lost money in, and how much money I gained. Although the last, like, I think 5 or 6 episodes we had, I was mainly losing money, except for this past one, the relief rally. Shout out to Dot. Centralization isn't that bad. All depends on what that centralized entity is doing. Absolutely. It's definitely that's why you got to do your research. Shout out to Simple Man. It's not worth getting married anymore. Nothing in it for men. Yes and no. It just depends. You got it. I think most people just don't have the conversation with each other. Sit down and say, "Hey, what do you expect out of a marriage? This is what I expect. Does this work for you? What are you looking for? How are you looking to get there? What you want of me? This is what I want of you." If you have that conversation, I think most people will find the right person for it. But the problem is that most people, my age included, from 40 on down, is just like, oh, you're good looking. I want to have a relationship with you. Oh, you're really good looking, and everybody sees that you're good looking, so I want to marry you. And then, of course, you guys have no idea what values you have, principles you have, moral compasses that you have, your goals, your ambitions. You just know that you both look good and that you want to be together, and that doesn't last long. It's okay if you think man or woman that you say, "Hey, marriage isn't for me." Then marriage isn't for you. But understand this: the financial ecosystem is built for a successful marriage because there's a lot of advantages, tax advantages, savings, everything that can be done with marriage. But you got to make sure you marry the right person. And if you build assets before marriage, make sure you have a prenup and a postnup already ready and drafted, and make sure you pay for her legal fees so that she can't come back and say it was under duress. So hire whatever attorney she wants. Just food for thought while I was through meeting people in my network and some of their mistakes. Um, Shout out to Live and Learn. What's up with low tolerance levels? Uh, well, I could say this about low tolerance levels is that people, if they're living the lifestyle that they want, people will tolerate a lot more. Like if a guy has everything going for him and finally gets a really, really good looking woman, he'll tolerate a lot of crazy that you really shouldn't be tolerating in any relationship. Or women, when they find a guy that kind of has everything aesthetically that they're looking for and can provide the lifestyle, they kind of let that guy get away
What
with
I
it.
mean, what I mean by tolerance, though, is like, for example, it's like when people have arguments, like there could be that one argument that just makes or breaks a relationship. And in my opinion, it's like an argument shouldn't make or break a relationship. An argument should
Gotcha.
be talked about. That's what I mean by tolerance. People don't have the mental capacity nowadays to sit down and have a fucking conversation about like saving their relationship. People aren't tolerant about that stuff. It's not, people nowadays are not built to have that conversation of what can we do to fix it, and having the long-term mentality instead of being caught up in right now. People are just so caught up in right now, and it just blows my mind.
Exactly. And yeah, it's like one argument. It's like my parents argued about a lot of things. My grandparents argued about stuff. My aunts and uncles argued about stuff. Like one argument in a relationship doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, it's over, it's all over. No, let's be an adult, come to understand why both of you are upset, and come to like a common ground there. Like, it's ridiculous to think that one argument is going to be the end of everything.
One argument's like an over exaggeration, in my opinion. It could take two, three, or four, but overall, people are just so low tolerant when it comes to adversities in relationships. They think it's all supposed to be just smooth sailing. Like, adversities happen. Like, it shouldn't be to the point where you're disrespected and stuff like that. Because
Mhm.
if you're being disrespected, especially on and off, like, you should relieve. But it's just like people are low tolerant towards adversities in life and relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Mark, opinion on Stacks. Well, I use Stacks payment system that they came up with. So I'm all for Stacks as a product, but I don't have it in my portfolio. But I like their payment system product because I use it for my business. It makes it hard for people to do fraudulent credit card claims because everything's based on a blockchain ledger. So it makes it easy. Shout out to Joe. Just I'm just making one of my son, just making one my son's teaching me. Um, and let me just see here. Thank you, Crypto Dream, for supporting the live. Really appreciate that there. Shout out to Joe. Life, you gotta learn a lesson one way or the other. Absolutely. And shout out to Live and Learn. Agreed. I would also warn people about actions taken during a disagreement. Exactly. Exactly. Because it's unfortunately some of us all of us are human, and we're all going to say one thing that's going to just like we're going to regret saying, and that could be in any like a business relationship, a friendship, family, familial ties, romantic relationship, husband, wife, whatever. You can make that mistake and say something you regret and you really don't mean. You just said it in the heat of the environment. But man, we've been on live for an hour. I got to get home. Time for me to start cooking some hamburgers and go home on my way home buy some steaks so I can marinate them and cook them on my grill tomorrow. Because I've been hankering for some grilled steak for a while. So I think I'm gonna go get that set up for me. But definitely glad to have you in here. Hope you guys enjoyed the live. I will stay a little bit longer to see if we got anyone got any final questions for you. I do
That would
give
be awesome if you guys had some.
yeah, exactly, absolutely. Um, if you guys want to come, make sure you guys come on tomorrow morning for morning market news as we talk about the markets and everything in the morning. I got to do a lot of research because there's going to be a lot of topics I want to talk about in the morning, a lot of stocks and crypto that I want to cover before we get to the Q&A session at the end. But yeah, definitely. And if you guys want to get support the channel a little bit more, you can go to Facebook, like and follow us there. If you want to join the Patreon, you can subscribe for free for the newsletter. Once a week it comes out. You can also support by just going to the shop if you want to get one of the book bags or mugs with our logo on it. Really appreciate that. And if you want to help us grow this channel, you can go and join on the other levels to either if you're looking to build and expand a business or trying to prepare a business for an investor, go over financial paperwork, turn your business around. I got that option for you. I'm only taking 20 seats, and right now I got 2 full. So once I hit 20 people, I'm gonna close that off. Uh, Also, you can just join as a supporter, and you get early access to all the videos before they drop on Monday and Friday, as well as the Patreon exclusive content such as the lives, our postings, the access to the Discord where Cody and I talk about a lot of what's going on in our investing, our opinions, things like that, as we just kind of talk throughout the day. And also, you can get Patreon exclusive series as we have the interview series going on there. And I'm going to be putting on the business series as well, where I'm going to have a 6-episode series where I talk about how I built my businesses, how I overcame some of the obstacles, hurdles, things like that. How I built my moving company up to an 8-figure business in 6 years. And also how I got into a construction company, how I started building the logistics company to tie into my moving company, things like that, and everything I did to kind of work around being a new guy in a high competition area for moving. So that's all gonna be I think gonna be cool as I make those videos and get them out to you guys. But as always, like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Really appreciate all your guys' support, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow. I guess we got no other questions, but shout out to Joe. Have a good one too. Shout out to Live and Learn. Enjoy your dinner. It sounds good. Yeah, I'm going. Definitely sounds good, especially when you're hungry. And I'm doing a one meal a day fast, so it's time for that dinner, as I'm currently trying to get down to 250, because right now I got down to 300, and then I started really working hard on the weights and I bulked my weight up, I guess, faster than I thought. So now I'm trying to go back down to 240 and just kind of get rid of a lot of the fat. Although I do have to eventually, I'm just going to have to settle on eventually that I have to get surgery to remove saggy skin. But with that said, guys, thank you so much. Shout out to Live and Learn. You got this. I certainly do. I never set a goal I haven't hit, so I will hit it. And I'm down from 490 pounds from 6 years ago. So, and I've been steadily keeping off the weight. So we're gonna hope for the best there. But shout out to you guys. Definitely give Crypto Dream a follow and a subscribe there on his YouTube channel and TikTok, and as well as follow Cody on TikTok under Cody Harris.eth. Yeah, definitely give him he drops a lot of content, not all of it's crypto too. So
not all crypto, it is life in general.
Yep, life in general. Shout out to Bud. Keep up the good work. Thank you, buddy. You do the same. Hope you guys chase your dreams, chase your financial goals, set your plans, and don't invest in any moonshots with your life savings. Definitely invest wisely, invest intelligently, do your own research, and make sure you respect the process. With that said, guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day.